Hi everyone, I'm Sekulu Nyekha from Nagaland, India, and I love bodies. As a community where there is still so much taboo and shame around our bodies and sexual health, to be an advocate of sexual and reproductive health and rights, SRHR, becomes an act of love. To consciously learn about SRHR was and is still a way for me to relearn my body, and in doing so, claim my right to make informed decisions. Something a lot of young people and women in my community are yet to attain. During our workshops, we would ask ourselves what words we use to call our vulva or periods in a society that shames them. One of the girls mentioned she calls her vagina little sister. So when she is on her periods, she says, "My little sister is crying," and her friends will understand right away. A woman in her late 40s was talked on learning that vaginal opening is different from urethral opening. "You're telling me that I don't bleed and pee from the same hole?" she asked for the second time. We would laugh, but this also shows the much existing shame around our bodies. In our indigenous dialect, we use words like "gero uvade," which means dirt is on us for menstruation. We say mulo, which means mad when mothers face postpartum depression. Our words, which are so dear and honest to us, still fail to describe us, our bodies, and bodily issues on a positive narrative. Could we say "tza uvade" for menstruation, which means blood is on us instead of dirt? We have the responsibility as keepers of our dying language to reflect on our words and how silence around our bodies was also something passed down to us. Our state stands with second highest adult HIV prevalence rate in the country, growing teenage pregnancy, and so on. As young people, we have the responsibility to use our creative minds to innovate. Why does our state of only 1.9 million, which strictly pushes for abstinence by virtue of Christian values, contradict with its reality? As a young SRHR advocate, what I learned is the power of stories. As an indigenous woman whose culture and history were passed down through oral traditions, what I learned is the power of stories. How do we address our household family planning issues through the lens of one of universal health coverage? We must listen. As young people, we know what happens when decisions for us are taken without us. As young women from indigenous and racial minority community, we know what happens when stories go unheard and invalidated. We must listen. Our sexual and reproductive health issues are personal to us, and it is time we innovate and start listening to our communities. We are not here to be strangers, but to know and help each other.